Powered by MPB, this is Chalkboard Chat, an MPB education podcast, hosted by Jermaine Flood and Tara Wren. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device.
Hello, my name is Tomice, and I am a special needs pre-K teacher at Oak Hill Elementary in Covington, Georgia. And this is your Chalkboard Chat Slate Sessions. So I am a special needs pre-K teacher, currently teaching virtually. And some of the things that I have noticed or just basically been real prepared for is that in order to teach younger kids, especially virtually, you have to do three main points. You have to be prepared, be patient, and be kind. So what I'm trying to say as far as being prepared, you have to make sure that you do your lessons a week ahead of time. And since I teach the littles, as most people call them, at my current school, you can't just have where you're just teaching and they're just listening. You have to have a lot of interaction between the kids. I tend to put music in my kids because, like I said, I teach special needs, and so they need consistent sensory breaks. So I may teach a math lesson about identifying numbers 1 to 10, and then I'll play a video where we do some type of like exercise and count. That's keeping your audience engaged. That's keeping your kids, allowing them to get up and down. Because let's just be realistic. Sitting in front of a computer screen for hours and hours, it actually tires the teachers out. So imagine how children from the ages of 3 to 5 feel. So be sure you keep them engaged. Be sure you include music and just keep them dancing and making sure that they are staying engaged. Got to be very patient. You're going to have those times where you have kids and they just are not feeling it. They're not into the Zoom lesson, or, you may have technical difficulties, which, as we know, can happen with the internet. So just be very patient with yourself and also with your kids. It's okay if you have to stop a lesson midstream. It's okay. We are all living in a times of uncertainty, and it's okay. You can always continue to go on. And the last but most important thing is to be kind. Be kind to your students. I know that when my students enter on in the morning, I greet them. Hello. How was your day? Anything I can do to help you? And not only my students, but because a lot of my parents are also on the session, so I greet my parents as well. How can I help you? How can I serve you? I think parental involvement is very, very important during these times, during the pandemic, because a lot of the time, let's be real, especially with little kids, it's the parents that are really running the sessions and making sure that the kids are logged on and making sure that the kids are doing what they're supposed to do. So just be sure you're kind. Some websites that I like to use in my lessons to keep the kids engaged is abcia.com. They have lots of games and just different things that ties to our standards that'll help the kids to stay engaged, and then also allows them to, make it fun for them, make them feel like they're playing a game while they're learning the content. Another good one that I get a lot of my sensory exercises that has music, and it's also based around theme and content, your standards, is Go Noodle. I love it. A lot of times I use that, and I'm going to just be honest, I'm a person that loves to learn through music, so I'm constantly dancing. So Go Noodle is one of my favorite things, and then you also get your exercises too. Starfall is another good one as well. I use that for my calendar because it's very interactive. It has them to say the months, it has them to say the days of the week, and those are some important things that they need to know as well. Another one of my favorite is I go into YouTube, and one of my favorite authors of all time or writers is Jack Hartman. He has a lot of videos where they're counting. He really has a video for any of the content standards for the kids. So I definitely would suggest that you guys check him out. And like I said, you can put your kids on this, and after you do it a couple times, they already know what to expect and already know what to do. Another important piece, because I am also a mental health counselor as well, is social stories. That is a very important piece right now, especially with the times that we are going through. So I take a moment throughout the day to do a social story and to allow the kids to express their emotions, to have the kids to kind of understand, why you may be feeling sad or why you may be feeling happy. And we have like a very rich content about just their social being, because we just know that if your emotional needs are not being met, then it makes it very difficult for you to be successful academically. So I like to try to put the two pieces together. So some other things that I like to do too is because you want to give your kids the opportunity to talk. You don't want it just to be you talking all the time. And I know sometimes it's kind of difficult because they all want to talk at once, but that's the luxury of having Zoom, to use the Zoom platform, is that you can mute and unmute as much as you need to, but allow your kids to kind of talk. Allow them to engage and ask questions. And we do a thing called think, pair, share. So I'll ask a question, I'll allow the kids to think about it, and then I'll allow them to pair. So let's say I unmute everybody and they get an opportunity to kind of, one by one. And you kind of have to teach this. It's not something that you can just do. You have to teach it to the kids. But they get a chance to think about what it talks about, pair with they decided versus what somebody else decided. And then I let them go out one by one and share it as a whole group. And that kind of keeps the kids engaged as well. So that's another great skill that you guys can rely on with the kids. Also, if you guys are kind of unfamiliar or unsure as far as the pre-K content, there's a thing called Right from the Start. This is gels. And so if parents at home want to kind of be able to work a little extra on different standards, you can go to that website and they have a multitude of resources, books, stories, everything that connects to the standards that we're working on. So these are some of the main important things, but the most important thing out of everything that I just said is to please just be flexible, please be kind, and please be prepared. Again, my name is Tomice Scott. I'm a special needs pre-K teacher at Oak Hill Elementary, and this has been your Chalkboard Chat Slate Sessions.
You've been listening to Chalkboard Chat, an MPB education podcast. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device. This podcast is hosted with love by ACAST.